you're going to practice things and break them down to that one thing until that one thing is so ingrained that under pressure, you're going to perform. I study success because I want to help people become more successful. Let's define success as getting a result that you want. You open a business, you buy a car, you lose weight, you become financially free, you leave your job and start a business. So you get a result. Now, how do you get that result? Well, one thing to point out is that there's a difference between being stubborn and being persistent. When you're stubborn, you can try to jam a square peg into a round hole. When you're persistent, you notice what's not working and you adapt to get the result. Does that make sense? So some people, oh, he's so stubborn. I would really invite you to become conscious of, are you stubborn and using an old methodology to get something, or are you persistent and adapting? So that's number one. Number two is your conscious mind can only hold a few thoughts at a time. And by holding them for a long enough period through repetition, they impress upon the unconscious mind. And then the unconscious mind starts to construct grooves that are so deep and so consistent that the unconscious mind then can take over. What are examples of that? Driving your car, brushing your teeth, putting clothes on, anything that you've done so many times that your unconscious mind doesn't have to consult with you on how to do it or ask you to be conscious of it. Your unconscious mind does 95% of the operations in your life. It beats your heart without you asking. It repairs a sore on your leg. It digests food, all of this without you asking. So, if you want to task your unconscious mind, you need to be able to hold a thought or do a behavior repetitively. Break down success down to the one thing. If you've ever gone to a coach, they will tell you that there are 3 levels of performance of top athletes. 3 levels. 1 is practicing, number 2 is game, and number 3 is crucial moments or competitive games or playoff games or what have you, right? So anytime that a professional is going to work on helping you get a better result, what they're going to do is they're going to focus on one area. So in sports is a great metaphor. They may work on you transferring your weight. Now you may have the wrong grip, you may have the wrong tempo, but they can't get your conscious mind to change 7 things at the same time because it will not stick. Your conscious mind needs one thing to really focus on, which is jumping early or transferring weight or finishing a swing, whatever the case may be. So whatever you want to improve in your life, I'm inviting you to break it down. You want to get better at sales, maybe you need to work on building rapport when you get on the phone. Maybe that's it. And maybe you need to work on that for what they call 2190, which is 21 days to change a habit and then 90 days to ingrain it. It's one of the reasons we have the 90-day challenge, is because we want to work with people for 90 days to help them stickify the transformations that they want. Does that make sense? So break it down. If a pro is a pro golfer and they can hit the ball really well at the range, that's level 1. Level 2 is taking it and playing a practice round and being able to do shots and play shots and make it happen on the course. And level 3 is to play in competition and perform. We've all seen those people that crumble under pressure. Sunday afternoon, they can't handle it. If you're going to do really well, in my opinion, you're going to practice things and break them down to that one thing until that one thing is so ingrained that under pressure, you're going to perform. But you got to break it down. Where are you not getting results in your life? Where are there things missing? Take wealth creation for a moment. You could focus just on your budgeting. And then from there, you can go on to maybe focusing on earning more money and making that your thing, getting a raise, being more conscious, producing more better results, and make that your one thing. Or maybe you want to really focus on where you waste with subscriptions and different things and make that your one thing. And each time you do this for a period of time and you set a new standard and you ingrain that into your system, it becomes automatic. You know, I have this laptop that I type on, and I can type like 80 words a minute because I'm so comfortable with the laptop and where I rest my wrists and things like that. Then my laptop crashed for a while and I was forced to use my desktop, and I felt so awkward initially. Kept on hitting the wrong keys because the keypad is set up differently. Your unconscious mind will work very hard for you if you put it to work through repetition. So why wouldn't you do that? Once you understand that, why wouldn't you do that? Well, you've got to be disciplined, you've got to be focused, and doing things over and over again requires either that you love it or that you love the result and you're willing to pay the price. Does that make sense? I didn't love practicing typing, but I so focused on the result that I loved the practice to get the result. Does that make sense? I wanted the edge on other people. I wanted to be able to type fast because I knew I would spend a certain amount of time in front of the keyboard, and I wanted to have that edge and that advantage. Where do you want an edge or an advantage? Where do you want to level up in your life? What area is dragging you down? Is it your health? Is it your wealth? Is it your budgeting? Is it your relationship with money? Is it your relationship with other people? Is it your lack of lead generation? Then let's dig into that. Break it down to your one thing and take you from practice on the range to playing well to performing at your peak under pressure. Does that make sense? I didn't become a great real estate salesperson by not practicing scripts and dialogues. I didn't become a great salesperson in real estate by making one call. I did it over and over again, and I broke down the parts that weren't working, and I made my one thing to get better at that one thing for a period of time until that one thing became ingrained in my unconscious, and I could serve it up, boom, right away. You know, people say to me, you know, you're really good at sales. Well, the reason that I'm really good at sales, and I don't even consider it sales, is because I've learned how to develop many skills, and it takes time. For instance, listening, paying attention to people's physiology, noticing their comfort or lack of comfort in the conversation allows me to guide it, take it in a new direction. Being curious about what they really want, and then asking quality questions and going deep until you get to the core issue, and then providing solutions. Make your one thing until that one thing is delegated to your unconscious mind, like brushing your teeth or driving your car or typing. And then you can focus on the creativity of those things. So what is your one thing going to be? Type it in the box. What's the one area you want to improve that you're going to commit to? What's it going to be? Do you need to get better with your money? Do you need to get better with building your business? You know, in order to elevate, you're going to have to separate. To elevate, you have to separate. You have to separate from where you are in many cases to elevate. You have to separate yourself from other people and practice. You have to separate yourself mentally and find a higher ground. You got to separate yourself from the noise that's out there and make your shot. Practice, whatever the case may be. You know, worrying is praying for bad things to happen, and worrying is a practice. And if you practice worrying, then you're going to have an emotional state that you're going to go to under stress or duress that's called worrying. We all have an emotional home, and we're all going to get news and things that come to us, and then we have a reaction, right? Angry people get angry. Sad people get sad. Frustrated people get frustrated. What's your emotional home when things aren't going right? Maybe you want to change that. Maybe you want to upgrade your reaction. Maybe you want to be able to reframe yourself better. Maybe you want to be able to turn things around. One of the reasons that a great athlete performs at a very high level under pressure is because the conditioning to understand that things are not always going to go their way, but that if they focus on what they can control and how they can perform, they will raise the possibility of getting a better result. Does that make sense? In other words, no time to be a victim. Success does not happen overnight, it happens over time. So my suggestion to you is that you make your one thing your one thing, you chop it down, and then you hammer away at it over and over and over and over and over and over and over until you get better, until it becomes automatic. And then you get on the phones, you show up with your list, and you make it happen no matter what, with ease and grace, because your unconscious mind can do all the heavy lifting, because you held something in your conscious mind, pressed it upon your unconscious mind for long enough until it became a way that you just are, called your what? Your identity. Your identity really comes from a Latin Greek root that means doing the same thing over and over again. That's your identity. So if I were you, I would either find something I absolutely love, because you'll want to do it over and over again, or find something that's going to get you out of what you don't love, but you're willing to do it long enough until you have enough passive income to go to do the things that you love. So let's recap what it is that break things down that you want to improve to one thing. Work that one thing until it's ingrained, until you are totally able to respond at a game level. You're not just good at practicing. You're not good in private. You're not good when it doesn't really matter. You're actually so conditioned that the best part of you shows up under pressure to perform like a pro. Does that make sense? It requires repetition. It requires doing it again and again and again. And as you do it again and again and again, you either love it or you make it happen. Muhammad Ali did not love, working out every morning at 4:30 in the morning, but he loved the result. Especially if you're a high D or somebody that likes to perform in public, you will pay the price to look good or to get the result. Other people, if you're lucky enough to find something you love and you just love to do it, you're going to do it all the time anyway, but you got to pay attention to the details and the nuances, because that's where the success really happens. I remember this guy was coaching Tiger Woods, and the correction he gave him was like moving his hand like a quarter of an inch over that way. That changed the entire result. Many of you are a quarter inch away from a great result, but you got to be willing to get that feedback. So here's my challenge to you, is to find that one thing that you're going to move and improve until it is so ingrained that you can delegate it and release it to your unconscious mind, then grab the next thing, and so on and so forth, until you've really improved the skill or an area of your life and you have a level of mastery and you perform at a very high level. That's what I recommend. Choose an area of your life, whether it be your finances, your health, your relationships, your rapport building, breaking addictions, habits, patterns. Just break it down to one little thing and win that one little thing. Maybe it's flossing your teeth, every time you go to bed. Maybe it's journaling, one sentence, answering one question at nighttime. Break the pattern, set yourself up to win, make your one thing until it becomes automatic and ingrained in your life, and watch success happen, not overnight, but over time. Wake up in a year from now, proud for the decisions you made repeatedly, incrementally, starting today, and play the long-term game to success. Because success does not happen overnight. It happens over time.